All right, so will the Senate blink first? Joining us now, Senate Republican Conference Chairman John Thune of South Dakota. As always, Mr. Thune, thank you, sir. Can I just get your reaction? President Obama pretty rough today at one of his news conferences. He says the Republican Party is being held up by extremists. Extremists are holding America hostage. Your response?
Well, the one thing I notice about his news conference, too, though, Larry, is the president, one, has not been engaged in these discussions, and secondly, his statements are, I'm not going to negotiate, period. And to me, that's an unreasonable position to take. It's unrealistic. I think the American people recognize that this has got to be a negotiation. You have a Republican House, a Democrat Senate, and somehow the two have to come together. And I think that the president saying that on this or the debt limit or anything that he's simply not going to negotiate is completely unreasonable. And it's not a position that he can sustain, and I hope that the American people, as they evaluate this, will come to that same conclusion.
All right, let's take a look at it. You've lost two party line votes, basically, to defund Obamacare and to delay Obamacare. Now, tonight is coming a third Plan C vote. I guess it's going to come tonight, which would be to delay the individual mandate and maybe have Congress join the health care plan. But delay the individual mandate. Do you expect a different outcome? Do you think the Democrats' discipline's going to hold?
I hope there are some Democrats that would be gettable on that particular issue. Joe Manchin has expressed support for delaying the individual mandate. I think there are other Democrats that might be able to break off if there are a few of them who would go in that direction. The idea of covering Congress, making sure that we're treated the same way as everybody else, I think is incredibly popular with the American people. I can't feature Democrats wanting to sustain a position that members of Congress and their staffs and people here in Washington, D.C. shouldn't be treated the same way as everybody else in the country. I think this is a very tough vote for the Democrats. I think the House is now going to send over this particular latest proposal, and we'll see where the Democrats are. But obviously you'll have 46 Republicans who will vote for it, and if we could get 5 Democrats, we might find a way to actually come to a conclusion here that would keep the government from shutting down and help us do something about what is a bad law that's going to have very harmful impacts on the American people.
If you lose the vote tonight, is it time to fold up the tent, to go back and punt? You know, even University of Alabama has to punt sometimes. Is it time to do that? I mean, can you avoid a shutdown if you fail in tonight's vote?
I think sometimes, Larry, you have to, we'll see. We'll see what the traffic will bear when this comes over tonight. If the Senate somehow finds the votes to strip this out, send it back to the House, where does the House go from there? There are some things, I think, that divide Democrats, unify Republicans, repeal the medical device tax, or as we like to refer to it, the tax on pacemakers and insulin pumps, is something that Democrats have voted for. There were 17 Democrats that voted for it Saturday in the House. We had 34 Democrats in the Senate that voted for it as an amendment to the budget earlier this year. That might be a place where we could actually get some Democrat support too, but we'll see. They have to obviously respond here in the Senate when the House comes over with this latest proposal, assuming they can get 218 votes for it over there, and this ping-pong match continues. But in the end, we need to fund the government, obviously, and Republicans are very much committed to that. But we also want to do everything we can to deal with what is a bad law that is costing us jobs and raising premiums for the American people.
No, I hear you on that. But last question, quickly, sir, if you would. I mean, how long do you think this shutdown is going to go? I think the shutdown is discounted. The stock market is discounted. The vote's probably going to fail tonight. Whatever party wins, I think that's the deal. How long will the shutdown go? Mr. Reid said he wouldn't take 6 days for a CR for Mr. McConnell. So what do you think? We talking 2 days, 3 days, a week? What's going to happen here?
If we can't get a short-term extension to get us to buy us a little bit of time, I think this happens fairly quickly. We haven't had a shutdown for a long time, 17 years now. Every time we've gotten close to it, we've been able to avert it. Hopefully, cooler heads will prevail, and we'll be able to find a solution that would allow it to continue. But it'd be nice to get some things done in the process, Larry, that are good for the economy. And doing something about Obamacare would be that.
I'll leave it there. Senator Thune, I'll leave it there. It's been a tough few days, I understand. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thanks, Larry.